Hey, welcome to the Really Charlie podcast. I'm Charlie Perry, and today's guest is Dr. Heather Larkin. This
Hello.
woman is amazing. She's been amazing for, let's just say, a long, long time for me. I'm not going to put the years of how long I've known her, but I just want to say that she's definitely been doing things on point for a very, very long time. And one thing I do love about her is that her focus on students and children and teenagers. That focus is just, you could see it. You could see it in everything that she does, as I look from afar or in the same room. It's just amazing, all the stuff that she has done over the years that I know of. And to put her on a Really Charlie podcast is real important to me, and she's definitely 5 stars without even saying a word on this podcast. So everyone, this is Dr. Heather Larkin, a licensed mental health counselor, mental health performance specialist focused on helping athletes and individuals achieve their full potential. She holds a doctor of education from Northeastern University and a master's in counseling from the University of Massachusetts, Dartmouth. Is my favorite school, and I can't even pronounce it. And she's just definitely the founder of All In Counseling Mental Performance Coaching, where she works with athletes, teams, coaches, sports parents to develop mental toughness, and resilience. So her approach emphasizes on empowering individuals to overcome negative patterns, anxiety, and performance issues. So, the all in specialist is here today on the Really Charlie podcast. And you know what? The funniest thing is I'm doing everything. I'm trying to type up all different titles and I said, wait, that's Dr. Heather Larkin. What am I doing? I'm like, so, and there's one thing I know: a title given is a title earned, and I know you earned it. So that's why I like to mention it all the time. It's real important.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I am so thrilled to be here. And yes, we do
Thank
go back way, way far,
you.
way back in the days. So, a lot has changed
Yes,
and a lot has, for both of us and all good stuff. So
yes.
I'm extremely happy to be here and I can't wait to talk about everything.
Oh, this is it's everything that you're doing is something that I like. I just like the sports, the mental issues, and I'm firmly into checking on people all the time. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And you know, men- mental issues or the mental state in people is just not recognizable all the time. People can smile for almost anything, even when they're sad, they're depressed or whatever. So, in sports, I miss coaching so much. I really
Mhm.
do. I miss it. So, um, first of all,
Mhm.
you left the district, you went to everywhere else, and I'm like, oh my God, pull her in. But I get it. I get it. I totally get it. We sometimes we lose the good ones. And when you took off and I was saying, man, that's that's gonna be a irreplaceable person. And
Oh,
so
thank you.
in both districts really.
Yeah.
So
Well, but
tough.
now I have found my passion. This is what I
Oh
should have been
man.
doing all along, right? Learned so
Hmm.
many great lessons working in education and public education. I don't, the good, the bad, the ugly. It taught
Hmm.
me a lot about not only, kids, but about myself and
Yes.
about things that I want to be able to do and who I want to be able to help and not have to, necessarily worry about, the politics around it or
Yes.
the paperwork around it and things like that. So I have found a place, and I have never been happier.
Wow. The brainstorm? What triggered it? What like you said, "I gotta do this. All in is what I wanna do. How do
Yeah.
I do it?" What triggered it?
What triggered it? I think, this is a couple of years in the making, and, when you want something so badly and you know it is so incredible, you want it to happen, like, right now,
Mhm.
and that's always been me, like, "Let's do it, let's do it," and so I've had to, like, learn some patience and, learn for myself how to, think about the way I think about things and, challenge those times when maybe I'm like, "Oh, I don't know if it's gonna work. Oh, is this good enough?" You know?
Mhm.
And so as I was going through the process, I was like, what I'm creating is not just for athletes. My primary focus is athletes, but it is just good for everybody
Yes.
to really, you don't have to believe everything you think, right?
Mhm.
And so, what really hit me was working in public schools. I saw and I worked with so many talented young men and women who had all the talent in the world, had all you know, the support that they needed within the school, but they didn't have access to other things. They didn't
Mm.
have access to, the specialized trainers or the mental health, issues that, especially after COVID, everyone was diagnosed with something
Mhm.
after that. And I think you had said it a little bit earlier, for athletes, the expectations that they have, not only from themselves, athletes have high expectations, but the expectations coming from the outside, right?
Mm.
So um, we don't always pay attention to them because we expect them to have it all together.
Yeah.
Heck, he scored 25 last night. He's fine, right?
Mhm.
Or, she, hit a home run in the state championship. She's fine.
Mhm.
No, we gotta pay attention to what's underneath the jersey. What's
Yes.
happening in their minds, because that pressure that they put on themselves and that other people inadvertently put on them can be really overwhelming. And so, I started just wanting to kind of get back to my counseling roots, but then, unfortunately, my father passed a couple of years ago, and everything that he taught me when I played sports, even though at the time I hated it, right? He he would be like, um, "Heather, get your head in the game, and you're playing like a girl," and things like
Mhm.
that, and I was like, "But I learned so much from sports, and I wanted to be able to influence more people, parents, coaches, and athletes to really do more, right? More around
Mhm.
how to help young athletes overcome obstacles, because that's just a life skill. We're all going to face adversity. And if we don't have the skills and the ability to rethink things and reframe things, it's going to be hard, you know?
I like how you said reframe. That's one of my new new things that thanks to um, my co-host Marvin Speller on the other podcast, and he's always telling me, Charlie, reframe it. Don't and that stuck to me, especially on that particular topic we were talking about, and it just stuck with me. He said very little words, but that one particular word just stuck with me, and I've been doing it ever since. And it started in the summer. It was that one thing. It was my solution for when I was kind of a little agitated or something was just putting me. It was overthink. It was just took 100% of my time. I was
Mm.
like reframe, 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 and boom. So it's helped me. I'm so happy you said that.
Mhm. Really does. It
The
helps.
Yeah, it's amazing. Um especially now, you talk about pressures and everything, the state tournament is here, and, these kids, you could see it, they're excited, but you could see some worrisome in some of their heads and,
Oh, yeah.
expectations,
Yeah.
and, so the,
I've never met an athlete who didn't want to win,
yeah, yeah,
right? And
mhm,
so, that's sometimes what expectations do is they make things, out so big. I have to score 25 points. I have to score a touchdown every single game I play in. I have to hit a home run. What
yeah,
happens when they don't? What happens when they score 20 or
mhm,
they only get a triple? They see it as a failure
yes,
because their expectation is just so rigid. And so, really helping younger athletes to get away from the outcomes. Don't worry about the stats because if you trust your process and you are using your strategies, those stats will come,
mhm,
right? If you're doing the right things at the right time, you're readjusting after mistakes instead of, you know, sinking to them, and
yeah,
that's when you see the body language, right?
mhm,
So, it is hard, and I see one of your, viewers saying teaching athletes to control pressure as teenagers is hard
mhm,
because they're so distracted and they're so worried. They are so worried about what people think about them. They are
yes,
so worried about, what mom and dad are,
mhm,
you know, thinking or what the car ride home after the game is gonna be like. Am I disappointing my teammates? What are they,
yes,
are they judging me? And so they have these fears. And so over the past couple of years, I've come up with, you know what the growth mindset is, right?
no,
The growth mindset, Carol Dweck, the growth mindset is if you work hard and you work smart, you will get better at
mm,
whatever it is that you're working on.
yep, yep,
So I took that and I was like, that is amazing. But for athletes, we got to go deeper because, non athletes don't understand what's going on inside of an athlete's mind.
true,
Teachers
true,
don't understand what's going on inside of an athlete's mind. And so I came up with the all in mindset.
mhm,
And that mindset has 5 pillars. And I teach each of these pillars with strategies and, examples of pro players that use it. So the first pillar is awareness. If you're not aware, you can't fix things, right? If you're not aware of what's going on in your head, then how do you reframe it, right?
mm,
We have tens of thousands of thoughts every single day. Which ones stick with you the most? The
yeah,
negative ones,
negative, yeah,
right? The
exactly,
negative ones. And so I teach kids as young as, elementary school using a superhero type workshop. You have to pay attention to how you're thinking. What vocabulary words are you using to describe yourself?
mhm,
Especially after like you make a mistake. I suck. I'm a loser. I'm this, I'm that, right? And so I call them confidence killers and confidence fillers.
mhm,
If you're not aware of what kills your confidence, for example, I have a lot of athletes when they look in the stands and if they see mom or dad shaking their head, that's a confidence killer, right?
yes,
Because
exactly,
but the parent, I've talked to a lot of parents too, and they're like, I was shaking my head because somebody asked me if I had something in my bag. But
mhm,
that athlete interprets that and personalizes it. They're disappointed in me, right?
exactly,
So confidence killers, confidence fillers, what are you feeding your brain nutrition or junk food? If you're
yes,
not challenging those statements, that negative self-talk, you're done, right? Because we're all engaged in negative self-talk at times, but you got to recognize it, become aware of it, and then change it. And
exactly,
then the second pillar is let go of fears and limitations. And that includes perfectionism, right? Perfectionism gets in the way of athletes really being able to reach their peak performance. So nothing's ever good enough. Hey, you had a great game last night. It was all right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I didn't score this many, or I didn't do this. You had a great game. But then fears, the fear of failure, the fear of making mistakes, the fear of judgment, the fear of comparisons, the fear of disappointing people is so strong in young people. And also my college, and I even have pro athletes who, they fear that, what's going to be on ESPN tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and so that
Even just the social media, the little comments in social media for an athlete,
absolutely.
it's crazy.
Mm-hmm. You
Um,
you're either, you're a winner or you're a schlub, and
mm-hmm.
so
Yep.
that's hard. And then the third pillar is lock in. So like I was saying, my father used to tell me to get my head in the game,
Yeah.
and I'd be like, I am, but I didn't know how to focus on what was important, right? So I call it win. What's important now? And so I'm working with a group of like 72 baseball players right now at Farmhouse Sports Academy
Mm-hmm.
from ages 11 to 17, and teaching them how to lock in on what is important right now. Because in sports, especially like a sport like baseball, it is a game of mistakes.
Yeah.
And if they can't lock in when it's important, when that pitch is coming, when that ball is hit, right? When coach is given the sign, they're going to miss things.
Mm-hmm.
So really teaching them, what do I need to focus on? And teaching them a lot of times focusing and locking in on your mechanics, right? Trusting your process and knowing, I need to be consistent. So if my shot is off, why is my
Yeah.
shot off? Well, my
Mm-hmm.
elbow's far out, right? So I need to self-correct it. And, so my father, when he taught me, he always taught me to catch the ball in a T. So when I ball, catch it in a T, that way, as soon as I
Mm-hmm.
go up, my elbow is straight and I'm following through. I knew exactly why my shots didn't go in,
True.
because I was consistent with my routine. And then intrinsic confidence is the I. So many kids rely on the statistics, on
Mm-hmm.
praise, on high fives, on, all of that stuff. That's fake confidence.
Yeah.
That's not real confidence. We need to be confident regardless of whether we win the game or we don't, whether I miss that shot or I don't. Because if I am not paying attention and I'm not intrinsically confident, I'm going to hesitate that next time I get the ball.
True.
Or I'm going to rush the shot, right? Steph Curry, GOAT, right? He
Mm-hmm.
only shoots 38% from threes.
Yeah.
He's missing more than 50, like he's missing so many of them. Number
Yep.
one, we don't see those misses as much on social media,
True.
but he doesn't stop shooting because he trusts his skills. And that's the definition of confidence for athletes,
Mm-hmm.
trusting skills. And if we don't build them from within, from every rep that we do, every practice that we go to, every shot that we throw up, and use those as facts. I am a good shooter.
Yes.
Maybe I missed a few tonight, but I'm a good shooter. So next game, I'm shooting.
Mm-hmm.
So really owning it, and owning not just, everybody's going to make mistakes. Everybody's going to fail. Don't let that, take you down and, into an abyss of.
Yes.
And then the last one, the N, is next play
Mm-hmm.
for a next level response. Kids react. College players react. Pro players, I bet you could name like 5 pro players right now who react and not respond
Mm-hmm.
when things happen, right?
Yeah.
Teaching kids how to respond at the high school level is so monumental, because they're going to face stuff in every aspect of their life.
I
And
agree.
if they're going to react, they're going to get themselves in trouble, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So if you can't move on from the next to the next play with counting on your preparation and your reps, feeling confident, with locking in on what's important now, being aware that I'm about to pop off because I'm thinking negative about myself because I just missed that. So it all ties into like one big happy family, the all in mindset, right?
Yeah.
And so, I have CEOs doing the all in mindset with their boards, right? Like this is how we're going to do it. What are we aware of? What what are we doing that's getting in our own way, basically? And I use it every single day of my life, right? If I am like kind of trying to figure out like what am I going to do next, because my to-do list is like this big. I have to be aware, right, that maybe this is too much. Let me lock in and pick 3 of the priority things. What's important right now for me to do? These 3 things. Okay, great. Can I do them? Absolutely. I trust my skills. I've done it before. I love this work. All these little thoughts that I'm reframing. Yeah. And then, when something doesn't go right, when somebody says, I'm going to pass this time, like a school or something, because they don't quite understand the importance of this, I could react a certain way, or I can respond, right? If I react, I'll never get that school. If I respond thoughtfully and say, okay, next play, next time I talk to them, I'll say this. I will, sounds like they want to hear a little bit more about that. So it's just good for everything.
Yeah. So. How many times did you change the acronym? Like you thinking about it?
A couple times. They all were kind of the same, like in the beginning, like all kind of the same. But then when I got this one, it just made so much sense. And I was like,
yeah, it does. It does.
It's the one.
5 stars with that. Awesome. So the question we had is, what is the all-in mindset, which we basically were talking about just now, so, but I put it on the screen and I just totally, this is what I like about the podcast, that you have a conversation, right? You and I having a conversation, and then I could see, you're just spitting out things that I'm getting ready to ask, or that's why I like this podcast, because it just brings out, that you settle down, relax, talking about your dad, talking about basketball. This is what I like to do on the podcast, is make things so organic that people want to concentrate and listen. In the comment section, there was Mike Samayo. He was in there. I don't know if you see it. Great Fairhaven athlete, Hold on 1 second. But this is the book. Fairhaven guy. But everything you talked about is right here and what he was going through. Still got to finish up on it. But the one thing I like about it is this is our guy. He's from our area, and everything that you're talking about, and all in, and that mindset. This young man was going through it, and you talk about your dad. He relates to a lot of things with his dad in different conversations, and one of his greatest, all his great stories lead with Dr. J or Pete Maravich, Pistol Pete, and he just goes on, and those were his idols, but that was also pressure. That's pressure, and so, anyway.
Pressure is something that we shy away from so many times, right? And I try to get kids to embrace the pressure. It means you're doing something important. It means that you're here. You're here. You're in the championship, or you made this team. And so, but when things are important, when we think we're going to be judged in this situation, right? It gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it takes on a life of its own.
True.
And, so I was watching an interview with Joe Mazzulla,
Mhm.
and the reporter said something to do with Tatum. This was a couple of years ago, and he said, "Oh well, Tatum must be really struggling. Like he's getting, he's got so much pressure on him."
Mhm.
And Mazzulla goes, "Timeout," in Mazzulla's way, right?
Yeah, yeah,
He gets to feel the pressure. He
yeah.
gets that. This is what he signed up for when he was 5 years old.
Mhm.
He wanted this pressure. And
Yeah.
so, so many kids, I want to play D1. I want to play D1. Okay. How about you play any college level? Because
True.
only 6 to 7% of all high school athletes in the country go
Mhm.
on to play at the college level.
Yeah.
So, but they don't understand it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder the higher you go. So
Yes.
if you can't embrace pressure and reframe your definition for it, you're going to struggle more than you need to. So,
Yeah, take on that pressure because with pressure, every pressure situation becomes life experiences.
mhm,
And with those life experiences, you get better and better and better. And then all of a sudden, after you think about the afterwards, you say, "Oh, that was okay. All right, I got it done," and you didn't even think about it. But it's because of all those pressure situations or pressure experiences put you above, just put you in, over the top. Sometimes you may not get over the top, but at least it's experience. And
mhm.
I used to
But we
do things on the jo
overthink it.
yeah, I was doing things on the job, I'm like, "Wow, why man, where'd that come from?" But it's just years of experience, things just click, and
Yep.
I was ahead of the game, not even realizing I'm ahead of whatever's gonna happen, I'm already ahead of it, and it just worked out for me. So, um, let's see, what's gonna Dr. Larkin, we talked about something in our notes, before the show, and I wanna make sure that I mention it. Um, Something you wanted to talk about.
The
Mm,
summit.
yes, sorry. I'm
So,
scroll
all right. So, all in counseling mental performance
mm,
is my umbrella, right?
yep,
And the all in mindset is the framework for everything that we do. My workshops, my sessions, my one-on-ones, my teams, all of that. That's the philosophy. That's the foundational framework. Under that, right? I do clinical counseling, right? I'm a licensed mental health counselor,
mhm,
and sometimes it is a mental health issue, right?
yes,
Other times, the performance anxiety, those types of things, it is more of a performance-based issue,
mm,
but it still at times permeates into their whole entire life. So, sometimes I have to, like, figure out, like, is this or is this?
mhm,
But, my highest achieving athletes do both, right? They want to make sure that their mind is right, so their game is tight, and some of it is counseling and some of it is performance. And so in doing that, I was like, there's a lot of people, kids, teenagers who need both but don't have the access or the means or the right insurance or whatever. And
exactly.
so I created a nonprofit. It's called Beyond the Game Foundation. And
Mm,
through that foundation, um, getting community partners that are focused on youth that love sports, right? To be able to have a network of individuals and practices and organizations who, if there is a student athlete who is in need of a dentist before
yep,
they go on, right? We need to have somebody that we can send them to, regardless. And through the nonprofit, those types of services and donations, if you will, are tax deductible. So community organizations could get involved very, very easily. But one of the biggest things is this college process is incredibly confusing, even for me at
Yeah.
times,
Yeah.
right? So I can't even imagine, how these parents are dealing with it. And I worked in schools for 28 years. The guidance counselors have one of the most difficult jobs at times, right?
Yes.
But they're not focused on athletes. They're not focused on the NCAA clearinghouse and what the eligibility requirements are for that. They don't have
Mhm.
time to do that. So we got to get that information to them somehow. So in working with Farmhouse, with Junior Medina at Farmhouse, we are doing a student athlete college readiness summit on Sunday, April 26th. And we are inviting prep schools, we are inviting colleges, universities, but also those community partners who can contribute to the life and the success of athletes. So,
Mm.
you know, physical therapists who work on, and trainers who work on injury prevention, or, mental health individuals who can, provide different insight. So it's going to be a huge community event with, we're anticipating, I put it low. I was like 500 kids, right?
Wow.
500 kids from, Massachusetts and Rhode Island. Well, now I have, baseball teams from Boston wanting to come down to this. So
Yep.
it's needed. It's missing. It's a missing piece. Financial aid. How do I write a scholarship? How do
Mhm.
I do these things? Where do I go?
True.
So we hope to have everything under one roof, and it's going to be for 7th to 12th graders. So we're starting the conversation early with middle schoolers to, if this is what you want to do, let's hear from the experts. And so my volunteers, I'm looking for college athletes
Mhm.
who want some community service, want a letter of recommendation from me, whatever they need to
Yep.
come and help and share their experiences. And, so
I love that. I love
yeah.
that. I worked with the South Coast Foundation, New Bedford and Union Street,
Hmm.
and going over just applications and reading them, and I was like, "Oh my God, this kid's fabulous!" Oh man, go to the next one. Oh my God, this is awesome. And you look at all the stuff that they're doing. I'm like, wow, working, uh, schooling, playing ball, playing sports, participate in community organizations, all these things. I'm like, wow, how do they get the
You're
time?
like, I wish I had that energy.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And I'm saying, man, I just I was fortunate. I was fortunate because it was the first time I did something like that. And to see 64 kids that was just on my lap, never mind through the whole. I'm like, "Oh my god, this is amazing." The first thing is just them going to school was a plus, but to help them out, you have local institutions around looking just adding to the scholarships, and I'm like, "Wow, it's amazing that, this community, this state comes through, man. They really come through, and even when things are tough and we're struggling to get the little money we may have to different places, we still do it, still
Mhm.
do it.
Yep.
So,
I see Paulo saying setting up contact info for recruiting was hard. So I did another thing. Well, I'm in doing
nice.
another thing.
Yep,
So I'm in the process of creating 2 apps. The first one is called the All In Recruit. And
nice.
so I've talked to so many coaches and recruiters who say, don't they keep these kids are sending me like 60-minute videos. I can't go through 60-minute videos,
Mhm.
or Huddle, which you can barely see what's going on, right?
Yes.
Or parents who are doing
Mhm.
the recruiting letters for them.
Yep.
Coaches don't want that.
No.
College coaches want to know who is the person, right? Because if they're looking at you, they already know your stats, they already know you can play, right?
Mhm.
So this app, I don't know if I can show it, but so one of my girls is Jayana Silva, right?
Yes.
And
So
so
congratulations. If you're listening, I know one of your parents may be listening. I am
yep,
so
she
proud.
is one of the most amazing young women
Yeah.
ever to,
Mhm.
to come through my door. But she struggled.
Yeah.
She
Yep.
struggled her freshman year, you know? She had a lot of comparisons. Her brother was a great player,
Mhm.
you
Yep.
know? Well, she's now beat him in so many
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
things right now, right? So, but I'm trying to find it. So the All-In Recruit, it is a way that athletes can hold on, that's gonna show. I'll find her. So every athlete gets their own app. It's like a personalized app for them
Mhm.
that they will send to colleges and recruiters. So this is Jayana's. Can you see it?
Yes, I can.
So
Wow.
this is what she'll send, and it has, her highlight reels. It
Mhm.
has her statistics,
I love it.
videos. But then down here, it has all about her. And so one of the things that is so important is to show who you are, not
Mhm.
just your sport, but what type of student are you? What type of person are you? How do what is your philosophy on mental performance? If a coach gets something from a student athlete and they're talking about mental performance at that level,
Mm.
that's going to be a huge edge for them,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
So this is what gets sent to the school, the coaches, but then the athlete gets their own portal. So in this
Mm.
portal, it has a, a AI scouting report. So based on all her data and stats and GPA and everything that, is in there, it gives an overall rating. So it says Gianna Silva demonstrates solid skills and a strong academic background that indicate good potential for collegiate basketball. Her agility and court vision make her a very valuable player, earning her a 5-star rating. And then it says, college readiness, what her strengths are.
Mhm.
So she can look at that and be like, all right, well, I need to work on this, or I need to work
Yes.
on that. I need to boost this up. Then, because of the information that I got from so many coaches, like, how are these kids going to do college? Like, some of them can't even, write like a good thing. But that
Yep.
shouldn't be the indicator, right? That shouldn't be the decision. So there's a AI component where
Mhm.
they can write a letter to a coach. It includes all of their background and everything. So they have to do the work, but then it just kind of puts it in a pretty package for them.
Yes.
And then they can track the schools that they're applying to and see, has the coach opened it? Has the,
Mhm.
am I going for a visit? Those types of things. So it's just awesome. It's awesome.
I love it.
So
I
that's
love
coming
it.
out. I'm hoping like around April 1st. So if any
Mhm.
athletes are, juniors in high school, junior seniors that want to go that route, they can reach out to me directly and I can talk them through that process. And then my other app is because of all my athletes who have said, I wish I had you at 3 a.m.
Mm.
when I was going down that black hole about that game.
Yes.
So that one's not going to show because I have that on private. But this
Okay.
is, I trained this app, the All In Edge, to be me, to
Mm.
speak. It is based on the All In mindset, and it is daily reps. So just like a kid needs to be working out every day, needs to go to practice every day, they need to be working on their mindset every day too. And so it's just daily reps to go through to kind of like keep your mind sharp, to be able to reframe what just happened in practice, to
Mhm.
be able to plan out what can my response be to this coach? Because when he benched me for no reason, I wanted to scream, but
Yeah.
so kind of process it before you speak. Now there's always, reasons, and that's a whole nother lesson on what can we control and what can't we control, right?
I love both of them, and, that's crucial, especially, if an athlete doesn't have their craft in their hand, whether it's a ball, bat, whatever, glove, whatever, the next thing that they may have in their hand is their phone. So, you give that other piece in their tool belt, it's right there, and, like you said, it's they can just do almost anything. It's, "All right, I'm not playing ball, but I gotta talk about this. I gotta do," and it boom, it's right there. It's so
Mhm,
because everybody wants everything immediately. You
mhm.
really
Instant gratification.
exactly. So,
And I've
um
looked at so many mental performance apps, and there's some really good ones, but there's the majority of them are kind of like, listen to this module,
mhm,
right? Mine is actually like, do this. Like,
yeah,
what is that thought that you were thinking? Give me a
mhm,
reframe for it, right?
I
Give me
love it.
3 reframes for it, right? Like, what were you thinking in that moment? Um, I also have a whole thing of, like, helping athletes kind of create their alter identity, like
Mhm,
Black Mamba,
yes,
because, sometimes we have our little fears, right? But when you step on that court or on that field, you sometimes need to be somebody else, right?
yes,
You can't bring that baggage with you. You can't bring what's heavy weighing in your invisible backpack that you carry around every day. You got to leave it, and you got
mhm,
to be that person. So, helping athletes kind of like create that little, you know, superhero mentality to
I
fight those
love it.
mental villains.
Well,
So,
you're definitely you and your organization, everybody associated is definitely superhero-ish, and, I truly, truly love it because, it's given that time, right, is very, very important, and you definitely have done that, and don't ever me personally, I want to tell you personally that, um, first thing people want, "Oh, yeah, getting paid for it." People don't realize it's not just a job. It's a piece of your soul, it's a piece of your heart. It's the way you grew up. It's not just that you don't get it, and if you're not getting it, then, I truly don't need you around what I'm doing, because
mm,
you have to have that mindset. You talked about earlier how, you know, non-athletes don't understand things that are going well, sometimes people that outside the organization, outside the brainstorm from Dr. Heather Larkin's brainstorm, you may not get it, you may not understand it, but she
mm,
does, and everybody around her does. Even the 14-year-old that's sitting right beside her that's been there 3 months already understands it. So,
mhm.
you keep doing what you're doing, it's real, real important, and, I'm gonna keep pushing it as much as I can. I will stalk your page. Um, yeah, you can tell Peter that I do love you. Yeah, I do. But I'm gonna stalk your page,
So
it's
I have
that's
2 pages. So the
alright.
allinfo.com
Yep,
is my practice, and then Beyond the Game Foundation INC, Beyond the Game Foundation
alright.
8.com. And yeah, I think, in my opinion, there's nothing like it.
Yeah, yeah, I
So,
love it. Well, I'm gonna keep I'll definitely be seeing and checking out everything that you're doing and definitely, uh, sharing it.
and I'm going to be hosting a course for coaches, for counselors, for anybody that's like involved with athletes. The All in Mindset certification course. So it's
Mm,
becoming all in mindset, clinician, coach, whatever. And we go through everything. So that's going to be coming up in May, I believe. So if
nice.
anybody is like, I want to be able to better help the athletes that I work with, because
Mhm.
I can't see all of them, I can't do all of
Yeah.
them. So building and embedding and building a culture, especially in this area, right? Like, let's be the freaking badasses
Mhm.
of sports in the greater New Bedford Fall River area, because we
Why
have
not?
such talented kids who deserve it, who
Mhm.
deserve us to give them everything they need.
I agree. Paulo says parents need to take that course.
So I wrote a book for parents. It's called The Car Ride Chronicles: How to Avoid Those Dreaded Car Rides Home,
Mhm.
because I had many of those.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the first thing I tell athletes is, don't pay attention to the tone, listen to
Yep.
their words, right? But parents, again, like, they love their kids, but
Mhm.
sometimes they are like,
Yeah.
and I have grown men sit in my things like this.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because, and mothers, oh my gosh, there's even some intense mothers. We got to understand what's happening in that athlete's brain when they miss the shot, when
True.
the game gets lost. If we don't
Mhm.
understand what they're feeling and thinking, we could say the wrong thing that's just going to validate that negative self-talk they're thinking.
Exactly.
And then their confidence will just go downhill. So
Yep.
Paulo is exactly right. And I am holding some parent workshops too. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, I got a lot of things to be cutting and pasting and putting on this podcast, put it on the page. I definitely get that out there. But on ESPN, they got what? Hot take? Well, I got a hot question for you, right?
Oh boy. Okay, do it. Let's go. All in.
Who would you like to see on the Really Jolly podcast?
Who would I like to see? Anae Adams.
Mm, Ed- Ed- I love her since day one. I met her years ago, elementary school, and she was playing basketball. I did something at the police station. It was a concept award a good kid. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
we were focusing on kids that were getting in trouble and they were getting all the right things, gift cards and phones and this and field trips and all that. And then we have a kid that kind of we had these good kids all around us, and they're wondering, well, how come I'm not getting anything? So what I did is I just once a month would give whatever athlete and whatever kid and whatever sport they played, I would go out and get whether it was a baseball bat, a basketball, football, soccer ball, anything. It could be a gamer. I would go get a game.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that was my first one-on-one with Nay, and she gave her a basketball, and just to see her story and her journey, I'm so
Mm-hmm.
happy, and it's not because of her. It's easier for me to put the U on my chest. I would definitely wear a hat, a jersey,
Mm-hmm.
because it's just amazing what she's doing, and it's not just sports. She's achieving some academic things, and thanks to the people
That's some
around her.
big goals. Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes,
that is just such a powerful story for every other young female athlete in the Greater New Bedford area.
exactly.
Jayana, we could tag team it. Like, I think their
Hmm.
stories are so incredible. So
Yeah,
yeah.
between the both of them, Gianna, I don't know, it's gonna take a lot to get her to come on my podcast. I'll have to. I
She's
you
actually
know,
my student representative on my board of directors for Beyond the Game Foundation. She
oh, so
speaks.
she's coming out then. All right, so
Mhm.
this might be the time um to kind of catch her, and Nay, I'm definitely gonna reach out to her. Been following her and we'll reach out to her, her folks, um,
Mhm.
and make that happen. And I try to let everybody know that, just because you mentioned somebody, I reach out to them. I don't care who they mention. They may tell me, you know, reach out to, you know, Jamie Foxx. I'm gonna do it. You know, I'll
Oh, I
send an
can go
email.
like that big? I could, like, go that big?
I honestly send email to stars. I reached out to them. Someone that I didn't really know, but someone had mentioned her name, and I I mentioned it, and she came on. I was like, oh my god. She said, "Oh, I love your
Hey, you don't shoot
podcast."
the shot. You gotta shoot
Yeah,
your shot, right?
that's what I'm gonna do. Balls in my hand, I'm shooting it. Boom.
That's
You
right.
know.
Every
But
time.
Heather, like I said, I can't give you enough praise. I just truly, truly like what you're doing from afar. And the Really Charlie podcast is definitely something that you can use and utilize. I actually like to do things. Um, I have a barbershop component where guys would come on and just talk shop, like if they were in a barbershop. And then there's another version where it's a beauty salon and women would talk. But feel free if any of your athletes that are going to your workshops, and they just want to come on a podcast and talk about something, anything, I'll let them do that. So,
Alright.
yeah, it's and feel free, if tag me on anything you're doing, anything I can share on the podcast just before your events, please do.
So
I
I'm
can
looking
put,
for volunteer athletes, I'm looking for sponsors, I'm looking for donors, I'm looking for community partners who can help to, like, build a strong web of support services for kids.
yes,
All those things.
awesome,
Call me.
awesome. Yes, everyone I know, I'm meeting with a few guys tomorrow, so I'm gonna definitely spread the word. And if they're not listening now, which they probably are, I'm gonna let them know. You know, yeah, you're always asking, what can we do? Well, guess what? Get in
Mhm.
touch with Dr. Heather Larkin. She got plenty of things for you to do.
Yes. Yes, I do.
All right.
All in.
Yes. I'm going to create some clips about this
Okay.
podcast. I'll send them to you through your email. Um, and I'm also going to post them. Uh, so it's nice to use those clips, especially like, social media, Instagram, TikTok. And I get a good response because everything you talked about, it's got little 30-minute, 30-second clips. It's good. So,
Gems. Some little
yes,
gems.
gems, exactly, exactly. So,
Well,
but
I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. This was
you're
awesome.
welcome.
I
You're
used to be
totally
so
welcome.
scared to death to do these things before. Now I'm just like, can we do another one?
Yeah. Well, that's up to you. Whenever you're ready to do another one, we can definitely do it. Even if it's someone that you want to come on with, I could do that too. I totally, totally love podcasting. I wish I could do it more.
Yeah.
Um, Paulo says AJ Tavaz needs to connect with Heather. Of course, yeah. And congratulations to AJ, him and his team, and Dwayne Pina. They did what was it, St. Andrews? They 15-0, with their basketball team. Eddie Rogers. Now this is the guy right here, Heather.
Hey, Eddie Rogers.
Yeah, that's the dude. Guess what? He got more money. Well, I can't. Eddie, this is you got to reach out to her, and I'll try to send her information to you.
So
Definitely a
you can
guy
just,
that's
yeah, you can just go to beyondthegamefoundationinc.com/sponsors or donate. But if you go to the
mhm,
website, you can see all the information.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good dude. Always in my always in my corner. I truly, truly love that man. A good mentor for me. And
We all need
yeah,
mentors.
yeah, and that's a good connect for you and for him too, Y'all no slouch either. So um All right. Thank you. I truly appreciate you. And I will do all I can to put this on LinkedIn. Well, it's already on LinkedIn, YouTube, Spotify. I'm going to add it to Substack and get that out there. Uh, and that's about it. Heather Larkin, you are the best.
Thank you.
And
Just remember, half in does not win championships. You got to go
mm,
all in no matter what you're
all
doing.
in, all in. That is so perfect. That is perfect. I love it.
Thank
All
you,
right.
Charlie.
Thank you. You need me, give me a holler. I
I
truly
will do
appreciate
the
you.
same.
All right.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye. Dr. Heather Larkin. Hey, I told you that is no slouch. Everything she's doing is anything that a parent, a community oriented person would want in their community, right? It's total. I mean, she's got apps, she's got an organization, workshops, looking for volunteers. There's so much that she's doing, and she's been doing it a long, long time. I highly, highly recommend that you guys reach out, look at her website, and definitely you won't go wrong, especially if your kid is playing sports. That's the person you want to go to. Thinking about college, that's the person you want to go to. Guess what? And you know what? They may just had an episode last night's game. Guess what? This is where you want to go. All right, all in, all in. It starts. You know, a workshop is good. I always met many, many people in workshops, and they're still my friends now. And there's still someone I call on. I might have to call on someone, and it's all due to workshops that I went to, different trainings, all that. So, but Dr. Heather Larkin, my friend, definitely 5 stars. If I give her 10, I'll give her five now. I'll give her five later. That's 10. She deserves it. And please, thank you for supporting the Really Charlie podcast. We are on YouTube. Like and subscribe to the channel. And tomorrow I will be at Honeydew Donuts, chopping it up at Honeydew, Route 18, 113 Conway Street in New Bedford. And then later on that evening, I will be on Sometimes You Have to Lose Yourself podcast with Marvin Speller, Coach M100. And we talk about love and grief. Everybody, everybody goes through grief. Grief is not only the loss of someone, grief could be anything, something that happened at work. So we talk about that every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, here on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. All right, everyone. God bless. I appreciate you. And we will be on tomorrow. All right. Heather Larkin, you're the best. And you just keep up the good work, man. That was awesome. Made my night.